I look at it mostly, I mean, the new proposal, I look at it more from a point of view of how will users be able to use it and how will it work, in the area and in the region in terms of passenger flow and things like that. And my main concern is really that if I look at the station, it looks like the transfers that we're proposing between the AMT and the STM are very long. And they involve a lot of distance, horizontal, but also vertical distance, like lots of stairs up and down. And I mean, I wrote this little memoir here, and I didn't have a chance to actually turn it all into pretty images, so I'm just going to scroll along, and there's going to be a lot of pretty images, but not in the beginning. So if I look at the research regarding transfers, I find that the transfer, that thing in the middle of the trip where you have to go from one vehicle to another, that's really the thing where people are like having the least amount of fun. Like people model that the time it takes to transfer is like has a bigger penalty than the time that it actually takes to transfer. So there are different agencies use different numbers. The MTA uses that it's 1.75 times the penalty, the perceived penalty of the time versus how the user perceives it. The MBTA uses 2.25 times the time. So if it takes 10 minutes to transfer, it adds a penalty of 20 minutes to the trip. Additionally, I also try to look up what's the effect of stairs. And it turns out that walking upstairs can be 3 times slower than walking along a straight line. So if we have a transfer that involves a lot of stairs, really walking up and down, those factors start multiplying. So you might have a situation where, it's like 6 times as bad to be inside a transfer walking stairs than it would be just sitting inside a vehicle. What this means is that if you look at mode choices, people are deciding between cars and transit, there's a lot of elasticity going on. There's so many factors that make people decide whether they're going to take the car or whether they're going to drive, that it's possible that if the transit trip is only like 5 minutes slower or 10 minutes slower in perception, in terms of the perceived penalty, that people would pick the car. So transfers are really important. And this particular transfer, the one in Vendôme, is actually really important too. And the reason why I think it's very important is because of this AMT line that goes along it. That's the AMT line, that's Vendôme. So this area here along NDG is incredibly dense. It's probably the densest area that we have in Montreal that is not already served by a metro. And then we have these AMT lines going further, the Vaudreuil-Hudson line, the Caniac line, and the Saint-Jérôme line, and they bring already a fair amount of passengers in. But for example, along NDG, there's no single stop, right? So in my point of view, this line here is actually, this is really kind of annoying. I hope you can still realize what's going on. There's a lot of potential to this line that's not currently realized. And we keep having proposals to use this line to have better transit. For example, there was this proposal a couple years back to build a tram train to La Chine. So this would be La Chine, and it would use the Westmount subdivision, the CP line, the AMT line here to go downtown, and would pass and stop at Vendôme. And there are other various proposals. There are also sometimes proposals to put stations along NDG and have more frequent service. So there is really this big potential to the line that is not being realized right now. So when we talk about the amount of passengers we're going to expect, in 10, 20 years, that may actually like double or triple. If you look at the number of buses that run parallel to the line in NDG, like the 105 has as much ridership as the commuter rail along the line. And there's so much ridership parallel to it that if we added transit along this rail corridor, which doesn't have any stations, we could have more and more people. But this brings us to another issue. If we do use this commuter rail corridor, it will end in Lucien Allée. And Lucien Allée is kind of downtown, but not actually downtown, right? All of these red dots are basically the workspaces. That's from the 2006 census in downtown. And most of these areas are not exactly walkable when you want to go to Lucien Allée, where you want to get further than west. So if we increase service on here, it is very likely that people will actually always end up transferring to the orange line, because then they can get to all of these places in downtown. So from this point of view of, we have the potential of the AMT network, but it doesn't connect very well to downtown with all of these transfers onto the orange line, then Vendôme becomes the strategic place where this will make it or break it in a way. And Lucien Allée is also a transfer to the orange line, but that station is very deep, so it's always going to be very difficult to have a good transfer, and it's not working very well right now. And if you look at it right now, you look at the AMT lines, it actually turns out that a lot of people already transfer at Vendôme to get downtown. So this is the ridership of Vendôme versus Lucien Allée for the Vaudreuil-Hudson line, the Caniac, and the Saint-Jérôme line. And you see that a lot of the ridership, they get out at Vendôme. They don't go all the way downtown because, well, they're not quite in downtown. This is especially pronounced for the Candiac line, also for the Vaudreuil-Hudson line. The Saint-Jérôme line, not so much, because it actually has this transfer de la Concorde in Laval, where a lot of these people that go into the Orange line, they will transfer there. So that brings us to the, this is the context from my point of view for this presentation. Now, if I look at this presentation, it was always presented with this. This is always what we saw in the media. This beautiful edicule, you know, with all the big windows, and it looks so green and so nice. But I think that's not how most users will perceive it in 10, 20, 30 years. They will perceive it like this. As in, there's down there the AMT station, and up here, that's the STM station. And this red and this turquoise here, that's the transfer. And the transfer is convoluted. It's 3 times as long in terms of the vertical distance. It's 104 meters, and the actual distance is more like 30 and 40 meters from the westbound to the westbound, you know, train versus metro transfer, and the eastbound versus the eastbound, right? This is the westbound versus the westbound, and the eastbound versus the eastbound. So the transfers, those transfers that really matter, they're like 30 to 40 meters long in terms of actual separation, but they're almost 3 times as long in terms of distance. And if you look at where we want to walk, if you come in here, you have to walk down the stairs, then you're in the tunnel, you walk up the stairs, then through this door here, and then you walk down the stairs again. So people walk down, up, down, and they know that they're doing this. You know, if I walk down, up, down, I know that I'm backtracking. That's going to be really frustrating. People are not going to like it. So again, within this view of, you know, there's a little bit of psychology involved when you're transferring. It's really important that this has to work better. Okay, so, and if you look at the current transfer that exists, there's already a concourse there. But because the stations are angled, the current transfer actually has a very big physical separation, whereas this new one has a much less of a physical separation between the metro and the AMT. So there's actually, it looks like there's a big opportunity there to reduce the transfer and make it better. And also, if you look at where it is along the station, both of these axes are more in the center. So if you get up at some random point, you will actually reduce the walking time just to get to the access points. Because currently they're so far west. If you get somewhere, you may have to walk a long time until you reach this concourse. But right now, I measured it. The distance of this transfers here is between like 80 and 100 meters, and it's 100 meters on the new ones. So the proposed new ones, although there actually is less separation, it's actually worse than the existing concourse in terms of the distance traveled. And in terms of the stairs, it's similar. I think the current number of stairs that you have to travel is around 60, and it's going to be around 90 in the future. That's up and downstairs. And that's basically because the concourse of the AMT seems to be higher, and the mezzanine level here in the old concourse is lower. So you don't have to go, there's less of the separation like this, whereas in the future we have to go further down and then further up again. Okay. Another thing that concerns me just a little bit as a detail is that the connection for the AMT here, it only has stairs on the western side, which means that if you get off the train here, you have to walk all the way over there. And I think it's just easier to design this way. I understand it because there's the elevator here. But look at this. This is 10 meters, and this is 8 meters. And there are stations with a platform width of 8 meters that can fit an elevator and stairs side by side. So I feel like it should be possible to also have stairs here. I mean, the stairs could also go under the platform in some sense. So I feel like there could, again, be a better access. And if we reduce this walking time, you know, then again, we reduce the overall walking time. Oh, here I made like an angle design sketch as an idea. I mean, there's like many ways of doing this, but I think one should spend the effort. I mean, given that we are spending almost $100 million on this, I feel like this could be done better. Now, the very first thing, this came up in the consultation as well, is that we have this area where there's the MT concourse and the STM concourse, and everybody wants this to be connected. Like, there were questions about this, and whoever responded said that this is actually at a different level. And then we, the public, asked for more information and actual plans to see whether this actually is on a different level. But the plans that were provided don't actually answer that question. As far as I know, if I look at the stairs here and I look at the stairs here, they look identical. It's the same number of stairs, the layout is the same. Unless the step width is different, it should really be the same level. But we don't know because the information that was provided to us is not sufficient to answer this question. But at the same time, if I look at this and I look at the height differences, so we were given a profile without a scale, so I went in and tried to annotate a bunch of the lengths based on known lengths that I knew. That was very tedious. But it turns out that the distance between the platform height and the top height here is about 5 meter 35, that's sort of where the MT is. Again, we don't know what level the MT is because we weren't given the plans for that. But 5 meter 35 means that there's enough clearance to make this the same level if we wanted to. And if this is the same level, then we could change from this layout to this layout. So I just made a little mock-up where I say, okay, I added a couple of doors because the SDM has its own air. So we need to have those big rotating doors, and then some turnstiles. And the way I got this extra space, I mean, we were always told during consultation that there's not enough space, there's too many constraints. But the way I did it is I removed one of the elevators. Because in the old design, we had two elevators, one inside the paid area and one outside the paid area, that are doing the same thing. They're going from the tunnel level to the mezzanine level. But if we did have a connection, because we just say we brought it to the same level, then we only have one elevator here because you cannot go through here. So we have only 4 elevators in total. It also means that I took the elevator out and I took out one of the stairs here because most of the people will come in from the A&T level coming in here. And also, if there is a way to get in here, people will go through these stairs. So these stairs are not very important because what really matters is the AMT transfer. If you want to go to the bus, you will go with the existing concourse level, the existing edicule, that will go to the bus station. So people don't really have a reason to get out here and go there unless they're residents. And there are not as many residents as there are transfers to the trains or to the buses. And bus users will use the other edicule. So I feel like already this should be possible, and I mean, maybe it's not possible, but we weren't given enough information for this. And I feel like we should have, like we were told, oh, we studied, this was the quote from whoever was talking was saying, oh, we studied all these possibilities, but we didn't see any of those possibilities, so we don't know. And I would really like this, I would really be convinced that this is not possible, because it doesn't look that difficult. It doesn't look like I copied all of these features. They're just basically copied from the plans and pasted in a different location. The other thing is that that I noticed when I look at the plan is that this is the plan that we have been given. I mean, in a way, it's beautiful how they moved away the bus station, the loop, a little bit to the side, and they're using parts of this building to create this large amount of space, which you can see here if you just take out all of the walls. But then it was filled with all of these walls and all of these little rooms and stuff, and we have the STM concourse and the AMT concourse. So we're being told that, oh, there's all these constraints, there's not enough space. But then why do we have 2 concourses? Why is there a paid area for the STM there? So that the people walking along for the AMT level have to walking towards the trains and connecting between the residential area and the hospital, they have to go through this area. And by the way, this also means that there's going to be this wall here with all of these doors. They're not going to benefit from all of this beautiful fenestration here. So, I mean, in my view, it would be better to have this area largely empty. Because the paid area for the SDM should really be down on platform level. And we have examples for this. For example, the Bonaventure station, it does have a concourse that is not a paid area. And only when you go down the stairs do you get through the paid area, which then would kind of open up all of the space and would remove a bunch of constraints that make it so difficult to come up with better designs. So this is now when I say, okay, I'm going to have one single shared concourse. And now this area which is the most constrained, because there's the crash wall here, right? And then up here, that's where the metro is, where you can't really cut into it. Now, all these constraints seem to go away. And maybe this is not possible, but again, I'm not convinced based on the plans we were given. And in my view, right, having the turnstiles on the platform level would just open up all of this space. Right. So next thing is elevators. So we were told that there's not enough. I'm sorry, I'm running a little bit over the time. I hope. So we were told that escalators are not possible because there's not enough space. There are too many constraints. And one of the things is that there's not enough vertical space. So when I look at the profile of the plan, I can sort of see that because there's stairs in here, and if I replace an elevator here, it would cut into the existing metro construction. And I mean, maybe it's possible to cut this out, but I mean, I talked to my architect, and he's saying, if you start cutting into this, it just may, but I don't know. Again, I mean, I wish I was a statistician, so I would know this thing. So this is sort of understandable, but this is, I think, the only space where this problem exists. If I look at the various stairs that exist in the station, there's nothing above or below here, and there's nothing below here. The issue is basically that escalators, they roll back, right? So they have to have a bunch of space below, like a meter clearance below. But in all of these stairs, there is clearance, as far as I know, above and below. So I don't understand why all of these areas that are marked green don't have escalators in them, because really it's only this red area where I agree it's not possible the way it is designed right now. But again, when we go back to this plan that I had, and then I would make another suggestion, I would say, what we want to do is there's the SDM mezzanine and the tunnel level, right? And the tunnel should be higher and the mezzanine of the SDM should be lower. Because as you make them lower, then the amount you have to transfer becomes less. So then I wonder, for example, why don't we use the existing tunnel as the floor? Why don't we just move it a meter down? Because if you move it a meter down, then this constraint removes. We can put the escalator here, and it will be just flush with the existing construction. And then also together with the plan we had here, where I didn't mention it before, I changed the angle so that there's a lot of space here. And this is the space where you can have the roll around. So together with that previous design and this idea of lowering it, the escalator would be in this envelope, and now there would be enough space. So again, I mean, maybe I'm doing this wrong, I'm not an architect, but if I look at this, I wouldn't be convinced that this is not working. Yes. I think there's some further points where I try to say about moving the mezzanine tunnel level up and the mezzanine level further down. And the idea is that if we had a design that looked closer like this, then basically trying to move this up as far as possible, then the amount of stairs that you have to do for this really annoying transfer, where you have to go from the north side to the south side would be less. So again, I feel like here we had 5 meter clearance from there to there. But we don't need a lot of clearance here. People are fine with only 220 meters. I found this recently this is in New York. This is actually 2 meter 15. So it's pretty narrow, but I mean, this is only under the tracks, right? So, and here the clearance that we have in this tunnel is 3 meter 50. So that's almost 1 meter 30 that you could move up without affecting any of the construction. At the same time, this construction seems to be also be 2 meter 50, and I found places where the distance between top of rail and the one below is only about 1 meter and 10, for example. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to put this in the right place in the presentation. This exists somewhere in Montreal North. We have things that are constructed like bridges. This is about 1 meter 10. So if this is possible, again, why can't we move that tunnel further up? And then, of course, the mezzanine can only probably be moved as far down as the existing metro tunnel. But then it will reduce the amount of difference. And the less distance you have, the less long the stairs are, which again removes a bunch of constraints. I'm sorry. Yes, so this is really where I'm getting with this. I mean, ideally, these levels should be so close that you could put a ramp in between here, because that would mean that you wouldn't have to go through an elevator in order to go from the residential area here to the hospital. So, I mean, it would be really nice if the whole optimization of, I mean, if I look at the station, from my point of view, the optimization that you have to do is moving this up and moving this down. And once you do that, the rest sort of falls in place. I mean, this is my amateurish kind of view. I mean, I did consult with an architect about this. But I constantly hear the word, optimization, passenger flow, the user experiences at our heart. We hear those words, but then when the distance that you need to travel by foot is 3 times the distance that physically separates one platform and another, I think that's not that great. Like, it could be better. And if the distance that you need to walk in terms of stairs up and down is 3 times that, which is actually the vertical separation, again, that's not so great. So given that this is a relatively expensive project at $80 million, I feel like we should really plan for the future and make sure that in the future, when when the MT line starts being used more and they want to transfer to the orange line, that this will work better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dubrow, for a well-researched and thoroughly thought-out presentation. You've given us a lot of information. I'm not sure that we'll be able to ask you all our questions this evening, but I will turn to my colleagues and see if there's any specific points that we would like you to clarify right away.
Oh, you're an architect? You sure?
I come from a family of architects.
Okay.
And talk with my brother, who's an architect, about this.
Okay.
It's in my blood, but I'm not myself.
Yeah. Can you go back a little bit from that one and explain how people will come from the CUSUM and the MT to the other side when they are going to the west? It's not clear.
This here?
Maybe a little bit up. You will keep the same.
That were as part of the, because I will not make any claims that walls could be moved, like external walls. But basically it comes down to the same thing, is that if you come in, if you are outside, if you come from the suburbs,
yeah.
So you're going east, and then you will arrive somewhere down here. You will come in via this tunnel, because you will arrive on the southern platform. Then you can just basically go through the turnstiles here. Yeah. That's the idea. Then you basically have just the stairs down, and that's it. If you come in via the other way, then you will probably come from the metro going westward to go home. So you will come here, and then basically there's the same issue that we have. I mean, I didn't even touch this issue of the other stairs, but there are ways to make stairs.
But how they will be able to,
they will go up
again?
They will go up, and then, so basically they have to do the same thing. They have to go up. They would have to go on top of the existing construction and then go down.
But from the tunnel?
So they would come down these stairs.
Oh, those stairs. Okay.
Right, so these stairs are, this is up and this is down. Yeah. I just copied the stairs, so it's not so clear where it's up and down. But this is up and this is down. So this is the same level. So people will come in here, they will go down, will go across above the metro line, and then they would go down, which is basically the same as it is in the current design.
As the President said, I think we will analyze in detail your memoir.
I will send this tonight.
Okay.
Est-ce que M. Boucher a des questions? Excusez. Vous avez des questions? OK.
When we get your brief, we might have you...
We might have some questions.
Yeah, if we have some questions, we can get in touch with you and to explain? Sure. Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Merci. So we can see that we generally think it's a good project, but we have to make the best of the resources that we have. And for ad hoc verbal presentations, I have Mrs. Violetta Nikita, I think, who wanted to speak. We will have time to hear you. Okay, well, so long as we're still here, but we will be, I think, concluding shortly. And I think this lady, Madame Agri, you don't want to speak?
It's been answered by Monsieur Etou and Madame Army.
Okay. So, well, I'm sorry, Madame Nikita, at this point in time. Yeah, please proceed. You can either speak from your seat or come to the podium.
I didn't put in the computer. And I just want to show you schema. Je vais vous montrer un schéma. Si vous voulez, je peux la coller au mur, mais je peux vous montrer ça aussi. Comme ça. Oui.
Des fois.
Ah, je peux le tenir. Je vais vous montrer quelque chose ici. Devant la caméra? Où ça? Ici? Ok. Vous ne me voyez pas, mais voilà le schéma. Moi, je vais vous dire quelque chose. S'il vous plaît, favorisez les bâtiments de forme octogonale. Vous les faites droit en hauteur, mais de forme octogonale. Parce que, pourquoi? C'est mieux de la coller ici.
Attendez, madame, je vous aide.
C'est parce que je voulais coller, mais...
Venez à côté de moi, c'est. Voilà, je vais...
Ok.
Ah, excusez-moi. Bon, on va aller de l'autre côté, on va voir nos experts. Comme ça? Parfait, voilà.
Je vais vous dire un cours parce que je ne veux pas prendre de votre temps. Ok? Ces bâtiments ont la facilité de se connecter, reliés avec d'autres bâtiments. They can connect easily with other construction that you. It's like bridges, like under and everything. I put this here. This is a little idea that I have, a great idea that I have, because Montreal has to have something nice. So I was thinking, it's here. Where is the metro? Down. We can put a big building, at least 20 floors, and have elevators. And if we have this kind, we can have inside, I put it here, like terrace, cafe. All the students are going to Concordia. They are coming here. They go there and go by foot almost 200 meters. Ils vont pour acheter leur café. Okay? But it's better to have something here to rest for the drivers. And je dois traduire en français?
Conduire?
Oui. Je dois traduire en français?
Ça va donc, Madame propose une structure de forme octogonale d'environ 20 étages avec, si je comprends bien, des espaces pour des cafés, des aménités.
Commercial.
Et aussi, ce qui permettrait, si je comprends bien, d'améliorer l'aire de débarcadère pour les véhicules.
C'est pas juste ça, je dessinais ici. Okay. Moi, mon idée, c'est parce que dans l'avenir, vous allez avoir ici des recherches, d'autres choses qui vont penser pour le futur. Je pensais à une aire comme structure ronde en domus, avec fontaine artésienne en haut. Et vous pouvez avoir les résidences ici, vous pouvez avoir les places où peuvent habiter les gens qui viennent de province, parce que ça, c'est un très grand hôpital. Même s'il a été critiqué, mais c'est ça. Ici, c'est le train. Vous pouvez faire la liaison, comme j'ai dit la fois passée, entre le plancher du métro avec le plancher de train en commun. Entre elles, peut-être que vous pouvez installer en dedans, si vous avez peur, un mur de résistance, mais je ne crois pas que c'est le cas. Pour ça, il y a des solutions au métro de Belgique et d'autres métros d'Europe. Je suggère à tous les gens qui ont travaillé à ce projet que j'apprécie leur travail et tout ce qu'ils ont fait, les calculs, la direction to direct the teams and everything. Take a visit, pay a visit there, visit different things. Because very complicated things were solved in other countries. They are already they have the solutions. And I was thinking like this, from this building up, if we do escalators bigger, we have very big here, other stations. We can make in glass structure en verre qui passe au-dessus du train, qui peut être un bâtiment au milieu, où est la boule maintenant à côté de la boule. Au-dessus, on peut faire un aérotaxi. Aérotaxi, ça va rentrer en fonction cet été à Dubaï. Je m'excuse que je dois dire, mais Montréal est retardataire. Et Montréal, on doit passer maintenant pour la 400e anniversaire, donc dans 25 ans. Si on commence maintenant, on va avoir les fonds, parce que quelqu'un a eu l'idée l'année passée, oh, c'est 375 cette année, it's 375 this year, so just 2 million, but I swear to you, you can find 6 times the amount that you have now for a collaborated project, because you not only work for the metro, but you will work for the others, together with IMT and others. Solution, I jumped because I don't want to keep too much time. If you want, we can talk after this. To save the nature, the trees, put cylinders around, and you can have the trees inside and outside. You know, you can have till here the roof, but the crown outside. Why? Because in the trees are a lot of birds. They stop there and they catch there because of the sun. And if you come in the summer, you will see they use this. There are a lot of seagulls, of colombes. Je m'excuse, je vais dire en français. Prenez contact, il faut faire une équipe ensemble parce que on est spécialiste en architecture, en électronique, en technique, en construction. Prendre contact avec les botanistes et avec les équipes de biologistes qui s'occupent des spécimens, plantes, oiseaux. Ils travaillent ensemble. Moi, quand je viens ici, il y a beaucoup de gens. In the summer, all the people are outside. If you plant cement on south area, east-south, almost east, it's wonderful. If you plant the cement, we cannot stay there. People waiting 20 minutes or half an hour for us. They stay in the sun. Come see one day. Even if it's winter. Now I will go to other thing, to the second one. And also a solution for the plancher in front, to ne pas déneiger l'hiver. Faites une petite inclinaison et avec un tube, avec sortie, aération, circulation de l'air de l'intérieur vers en dessous du trottoir. C'est simple. Pour solution pour air conditionné, je vais laisser ça. Pour solution pour air conditionné naturel, vous trouvez des solutions à ceux qui ont déjà travaillé dans la recherche sur ça. En Allemagne, ils ont appliqué pour les bâtiments, fonction de orientation nord-sud, une spécifique orientation du bâtiment. Ils ont appliqué les principes de fourmis, comment ça s'appelle? Les rouges là qui font des... Ça existe déjà j'ai vu ça dans quelques maisons en Amérique, mais ça existe aussi dans les anciens bâtiments. Les constructeurs savent. Maintenant, je vais vous montrer une autre chose. Ce que j'ai pensé de cette région, c'est comme ça. Donc, je passerai métro ici, Domos au-dessus, passage sur le AMT, station aérotaxi ici, parce que, pourquoi je vous dis ça? Aérotaxi, ça va être très... C'est les Coréens qui font ça. Ça va être très exploité bientôt. Et vous avez ici une région touristique qui n'est pas encore assez exploitée. Vous avez la station de ski, j'ai fait ici. Mais je vais expliquer ici. Ici, j'ai mis le Provigo. OK, l'autre bâtiment, je ne sais pas si vous avez dans le plan. Du dôme par ici, il dit ici, vous pouvez faire une grande station d'arrêt de bus, faire comme ça, entrer, sortir. Une grande station de bus comme, disons, dans une autre place où c'est mettre ensemble le site extérieur. Vous comprenez ce que je veux dire? Vous savez mieux que moi. Pas seulement les bus qui viennent au local, mais les autres. C'est comme c'est un grignon, disons. Et vous pouvez faire entrée, sortie. Ici, vous pouvez faire un grand lac avec une surplombe de terrain avec arbres. Ici, vous pouvez faire, parce qu'il y a question de bruit et de tout ça, chercher les essences, parler avec les biologistes, les botanistes, les essences qui poussent droit et vite. Je ne veux pas vous donner la solution. Je sais, mais je ne dis pas. Je suis méchante. Ici, je vais vous montrer quelque chose. J'ai pris la carte de la STM. Ici, c'est Dorval. Ici, c'est ultra central Vendôme. Il faut exploiter ça. Vous pouvez faire ça à la gare centrale? Non. Pouvez-vous faire ça à le ciel allié ou c'est le bout de l'île? Non. Ici, vous avez 3 lignes de train qui vont Candiac ici. Ici, une très belle région que j'ai faite en bicyclette avec des papillons, forêts, mais pas encore exploitées. Et Candiac aussi est très belle avec la rivière et tout ça. Là, les touristes français, ils aiment ça. Ils aiment la nature. Et aller, pourrait mettre des navettes, STM peut mettre des navettes d'ici, ici, pour prendre votre temps. Il faut passer connexion. Et aussi, vers la station de ski. Vous savez, quand on rentre de Dorion, la solution qui peut être appliquée ici, c'est que les touristes, quand ils viennent, qu'est-ce qu'ils voient de Montréal? Pour l'instant, je m'excuse ce que je dois dire. Montréal montre comme dans les années 60, à l'exception des grands bâtiments et des nouveaux hôpitaux et résidences. Il faut renouveler ça. Il faut que les, les magasins sont plus beaux, ramenés au niveau. Et ici, quand il vient au ski, vous pouvez faire, parce que ça, les aérotaxis, je pense, ont 200 km de, je ne sais pas exactement, ils viennent automatiquement, revient à la base. C'est aller ici faire un autre point au parc ici. C'est ensemble aussi plusieurs. Il faut penser, il faut discuter à la ville, parce que Montréal est international. En Europe, les touristes ne savent pas Québec. I speak in English. The tourists in Europe, they don't know Quebec. It's the city of Quebec is the capital of Quebec. They know Montreal, Canada. This they know. Montreal, the international airplanes, they come here. It should have an impression. We can make a hotel where is the Domos. Very nice, very expensive. You know, I want to tell you something. I don't think I have something.
Je vais vous demander d'essayer de conclure votre présentation.
C'est ça, je termine. Je veux dire, au lieu de leur payer l'argent pour leur essence, pour manger les feuilles de or sur leur gâteau, excuse-moi, notre argent arrive dans leur toilette, il faudrait les emmener ici avec tout leur argent pour le gaspiller ici, parce qu'ici, ils ont fait des tours de ski là-bas. On a naturel ici, mais il faut faire le standard. Il faut regarder qu'est-ce que c'est à Dubaï, parce qu'ils aiment aller dépenser, ils aiment avoir des choses. Ils sont fous. Ils aiment dépenser pour les marques, pour tout. Moi, j'ai regardé, quand j'ai vu les feuilles de or sur les gâteaux, je me suis dit, là, ça dépasse tout.
Je vous remercie beaucoup, madame.
Dans l'avenir, excuse-moi, je veux juste dire comme ça, dans l'avenir, ça va changer, les trains vont aller sur magnétique. Ce que je sais depuis que j'étais enfant, c'est que les trains vont sur l'herbe en dessous magnétique. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, madame, pour votre présentation. Vous avez fait preuve de beaucoup de créativité et cela va certainement alimenter la réflexion. Je vais demander à mes collègues...
Something. If you ask, you receive. This is the child who asks the divinity. If you have the child have the courage to ask, you receive Mark fire.
Maybe I will have only one.
Oui.
May I ask you a clarification? On your maps, you are showing that the a proposal of bus route where they are passing underneath the track on top. Okay, so be a bridge over the tracks. Okay.
And we have the elevator on the other side, so people already are planted the elevators on this level, so they can take and go and
Okay.
come here in the big.
That's it. A last one. So you proposing to demolish the existing édicule?
To englobe.
To? Incorporated. Incorporate.
Together, but you can obtain, I tell you, 6 times the amount that we have now, working together with ANT.
Okay.
Because we use, very much, if I take ANT, I can go back.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a presentation, for your presentation. For the last time, I am going to call upon the representatives of Village Vendôme, Mr. Bernard Chano and Mr. Larry Carras. So for your information, I want to thank all of the speakers who are here tonight. This will complete our roster of speakers. For your information, though, other memoirs and documents have been received. These will be on the website. We've received some email comments by email from Jean Sue, David Martin, Gillian Frontin. Nous avons également reçu un mémoire de Transport 2000 et un courriel de M. Whittington, ainsi que le coordonnateur du dépôt alimentaire NDG. Ces mémoires seront disponibles sur le site web pour en prendre connaissance. Alors, compte tenu que nous avons entendu tous ceux qui voulaient s'exprimer, nous allons lever l'Assemblée. À compter de ce soir, mes collègues et analystes de la Commission procéderont à l'analyse de la documentation, des informations et des opinions qui nous ont été communiquées. Comme je disais en début de séance, la Commission présentera son rapport à la STM au printemps, de sorte qu'il sera rendu public au plus tard 90 jours à compter de ce soir. La Commission a un rôle consultatif et les décisions relatives au projet d'agrandissement de la station intermodale Vendôme et aux modifications de la réglementation afférente. Donc, ces éléments sont du ressort du Conseil d'agglomération de Montréal. Je tiens à remercier toutes les personnes qui ont soutenu les travaux de la Commission, les sténographes, les responsables de la sonorisation et tout le personnel de soutien de la STM. Je remercie également toutes les personnes ressources et les représentants du projet. La Commission exprime enfin sa gratitude à tous les citoyens et tous les représentants d'organismes qui sont venus ici ce soir présenter leur mémoire, qu'ils soient verbaux ou qu'ils soient écrits, de même que tous ceux qui se sont déplacés pour assister aux rencontres de la Commission. Nous avons énormément apprécié la courtoisie des échanges et la qualité des propos. Je crois que pour la STM, pour qui c'était une première aventure dans la consultation publique, cette expérience va s'avérer certainement très fructueuse et porteuse de beaucoup d'apprentissage et également porteuse, je pense, d'un climat de collaboration et d'un bon dialogue avec les citoyens. I want to thank you for your attendance this evening, for your attention, for the courtesy with which you have received all of our speakers, and for all the time, effort, energy, and research and expertise and thought that has gone into the drafting of all of the briefs that have been presented to this commission. Thank you very much. Have a good evening and have a safe journey home.
Sir, can I just ask where on the website we can find the information to read about this? Like, because I went on the website and I couldn't find, like, what is the link? Do you have the information, please?
It's called Consultation Vendôme.
Thank you.